Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. In this video, we are going to discuss the next chapter of science methodology, that is the instructional approach. Okay, there are two instructional approaches, one is inductive and deductive approach to teach. So, and these are two distinct and opposite instructional approaches, and both can offer certain advantages and also disadvantages. So, first we have inductive method, which is an upward process of thoughts. Okay, which leads to principles. You can say it is an bottom up approach. Okay, and in deductive method, it is a top down approach, which is a downward process of thought and leads to useful results. Okay, so there is a big difference in both approaches, um, which is the role of teacher. Okay, one is teacher centric and other one is student centric. Correct. So let's understand these two approaches by looking at their differences. Correct. So first we have inductive method, which is a method which discovers and develop a theory. Okay, and in deductive method, it only tests an existing theory and verifies various principles that is pre-existing. Inductive method is a method of teaching and experiencing by students, so they learn by doing. And deductive method is a method of instruction, the instruction given by teacher, and teacher is very active while the student is passive. Correct. Inductive method is which gives certain specific examples and giving and learning and understanding those examples, children comes to generalization of that thing. Correct. And in deductive method, a teacher gives a general idea about something, and then after verifying those ideas and principles, a student come to a specific conclusion. Okay. Then in inductive method, it comes from concrete to abstract subject. Okay, but in deductive method, it is abstract to concrete method, just the opposite. Okay, inductive method, as we already have discussed, that it is student centric. Okay, student is more active here. Student is more active here. It is full of activities. They observe, they experiments, they conclude something, they create new formula. Correct. So this is student centric, and deductive method is teacher centric, because teacher is very active and student only listen to the teacher. Correct. So inductive method is example to formula. Teacher first give various example before introducing a chapter. After giving various example, a student can connect it to the real life. Okay, then formula is formulation and principle comes secondary. Correct. But in deductive method, the opposite, formula comes first, then example. Okay, so this is full of activities, the inductive method, because the child is very active, child experiments things. Correct. But in deductive method, there is very less scope of activities. Okay, this is kind of a lecture method, where the teacher is only active. Correct. In inductive method, generalized by the child after observation. As a child experiment, after experimenting, after experience things, they observe correctly and generalize things. But in deductive method, teacher gives new concept and explains it. Okay. As in inductive method, child do things by themselves, so it is very slow process, and it cannot be, sometimes it is very uh, it is a very slow process, and it is not good for some gifted children. Correct. But in deductive method, as only teacher is very active, he explains things, he gives new concept, principles, facts, so this is very fast process. Correct. And then we have inductive method, the child requires first hand knowledge. How? Because he does things by himself. Okay. But in deductive method, child gets ready-made information and use it, ready-made information from his children or book, and later they can use it. Correct. Next, let's see what is the merit and demerit of inductive approach. Okay, so inductive approach is a scientific method which develops scientific outlook and attitude among students. How? Because the student, they do things by themselves. So they develop a scientific attitude, they develop interest in science. Okay, and it is more like logical and psychological approach, right? So as they do things by themselves, so it is based on actual observation, and they understand things in a better way. Okay, after that, the creative thinking and critical thinking of students develops, correct? And this method, a student as a student, they given various examples which they can relate to in their daily life, so it is very beginner friendly, correct? And it gives a lifelong learning skill. As they do things, as in they inquire, as they ask how, why, what, so they do things by themselves, so they learn many things by themselves, and that is a lifelong experience. Okay, so children experience and discover things, and they are very active in learning, and they are engaged to the lessons. Okay, so children develop their own conclusion. So these are all the merits of inductive approach. Then let's see the demerit of inductive approach. So inductive approach is not at all very suitable for all the topics. Okay, we cannot do experiments and experiences in all the topics, right? And so this is very time consuming. Okay, so the conclusion of the subject is conclusion is subject to change, means it is not final, as there are various conclusion of different students, many students, and there are a lot of data. Okay, so the conclusion is subject to change. So unfairness towards some student. Why unfair? Because there are some gifted students also, so it is very unfair to them, as they know already know various things before learning the lesson, correct? So let's see deductive methods, merits and demerits. So let's see first merit. So deductive method is a faster way to teach. Okay, so it is very time saving. Okay, so it is very efficient to teach a large number of facts and concept. You can a teacher can teach a large number of students also at a time. Okay, it is suitable for all the topics. If you do not want to experiment things, then it is only a lecture method, and it is suitable for everything, every topic. Okay, mostly suitable for higher classes. It is more predictable, less burden to teachers. Okay, and also as it is only teacher centric, teacher do things, teacher teaches, teacher give principles, facts, ideas about a concept, so it covers lengthy syllabus in a shorter time, correct? So next say the demerits of deductive approach. So this deductive approach is non-conform and non-explanatory. Okay, why? Because teacher only explain and gives the idea about the concept which is pre-existing. Okay, and it is a unscientific method and on psychological in nature. Why on psychological? Because the students have no to very less participation in this method, so most of the time they do not also understand things. Okay, next is developing a scientific attitude among the student is very difficult here. Okay, why? Because they do not do things by themselves, they do not have a first hand experience. So the creating interest in them is very difficult. Okay, here students are passive and rote memory is being encouraged here, so that makes them under confident, correct? So these are all the merit and demerit of deductive method. Okay, deductive method of teaching or deductive approach of teaching. Okay, here we got to know two different approaches of teaching. One is inductive and deductive. We saw various merits and demerits, and both of them are very important method of teaching. Okay, so if you have any doubt in this lesson, let me know in the comment box. If you like it, then do like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.